Hey, my name is Shelly and welcome to my channel, Shell Space. Today's video is going to be a book review about Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long. I just finished this book maybe 2 days ago and instantly needed to scream from the treetops about it because it is such an underrated book. I don't know why more people are not reading this book. It is so good. So that is why I decided to do a review, because this book needs to be more out on booktube. It needs to be out there. So this is a non-spoiler review. I will be talking about the synopsis of the book, why I loved it, and then my rating broken down into sections. So if you're curious about that, you can skip ahead. There's timestamps for all of that. So this book starts off with a young woman named Mary, and she is what they call a storm singer. A storm singer is basically a person who can sing to storms and speak with them. And basically, if you want the storm to be still so you have nice smooth sailing, they can sing through that. If they want an enemy ship to be taken out by a hurricane, she can sing to that. Having a storm singer on a ship is just so important. Unfortunately, a lot of storm singers are slaves. So they're taken against their wills, strapped up, made to sing, and just basically slaves to the Navy or pirates or whoever it has a ship that they need to sing. Our story starts with Mary, who is a storm singer, and she's pretty new to the world because she was kept in a very secluded part of the world. And one thing leads to another, and she's kind of thrown out into a very, very bad situation and is basically sold off into slavery. All she wants to do is find her mother, and that's all she wants to do. So she goes through some bad stuff to find her mother. And the second POV is Samuel, and Samuel is a disgraced Navy officer. So his job is to hunt this notorious pirate named Lear. He's basically doing this to clear his name. So Samuel's path and Mary's path cross, and I'm going to leave it at that. What I love about this book is what Pirates of the Caribbean used to be in its heyday, like the first movie. It gave me that feel so much. During the action scenes, all I could hear was that theme song, the main theme song for Pirates of the Caribbean, the entire time. So I was reading it. Anyways, obviously it's very different because the world that they're in is not like a warm Caribbean tropical place. It's cold and freezing and very not nice. It's not a nice climate. But the whole world, the pirates and the pirate kings and pirate hunters, and everybody has their own agenda, and the Navy, are they good people, are they bad people? Very, very similar to Pirates of the Caribbean. Fortunately, there is no Jack Sparrow, so if you're coming into this looking for a Jack Sparrow, there's none. But the other two main characters are very similar to another two main characters, and I can't actually remember their names. That's why I'm being very cagey. That's one reason why I really love it, because that gave me that nostalgic Pirates of the Caribbean feel. Another is because the world is so unique. There are tons of different types of magic systems, and it's almost to the point where it kind of reminds me of X-Men. Certain people have certain abilities. So there's a lot of things about the story that I found so nostalgic that I love. The other thing that I really, really love about this book, and I don't really want to mention it because I feel like it's better to be surprised, is the creatures in this book. There are some unique creatures that you have not seen anywhere else, and I absolutely love that. It was a breath of fresh air seeing different creatures. You can kind of see where they're inspired by, but they're not mermaids. They're not like sirens. They're not kelpies. You know what I mean? They're different creatures, and I freaking loved it. Another thing is that the characters have personality. They have agency. They are living their own lives. They are not wrapped up in a romance that is defining them. It's not even about the romance. It's barely about the romance. It's just they see a person, they're like, oh, hey, you're kind of cute. That's it. So if you're looking to get into a lovey-dovey romance, this is not the book for you. If you're looking for something that's the beginning of something, this is definitely for you. And what I also like about this book is the romantic interest is not obvious. You don't know who it's going to be because you're introduced to a bunch of characters all at the same time. And usually fantasy romances, you know when you're introduced to the guy or the girl that's going to be the love interest. This, you have no idea. You have none. I mean, it's the high chances, but could it be the other person? You don't know. Now we gave a bit of a synopsis, kind of talked about why I liked it so much, and I'm going to give you my ratings. So I'm going to break this down into 5 parts. The first is world and world building. The second is writing. The third is character. The fourth is plotting. And the fifth is surprise, like the surprise factor of this. Okay, so the first one is world and world building. I give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. There's history, there's lore, it's so well done, it's so intricate and so well thought out. The way that it's described is really phenomenal, and that gives me to writing. And writing is 5 stars. This story was so well written. The way that H.M. Long writes brings you into it, drops you into this world. You smell the sea salt, you smell the wood smoke, you smell like the rot and the decay, like all the things around, like the flowers and you smell everything. And then you can feel the cold because it is a cold climate, so you feel everything. It is so well developed. If this book was double the page count, I would eat it up. It was that good. So again, 5 out of 5 stars for writing. Characters. The characters were good. They weren't as flushed out as I usually enjoy, but given that is a time factor, like how much this is less than 500 pages. If you got to know a character so well and all the story and the world building, obviously you're not going to get to know the characters too well. But for the amount of time page count, you do get to know them quite well. I'm very excited to continue on with the sequel to get to know them even better, but still, the characters were probably about 3.5 stars. They were good. They're fleshed out. They had agency, but they weren't like full-fledged like human beings in my mind. Plotting. Plotting of this was so good. 4 stars. 4 stars. Unlike most stories, you don't start from like where the character begins at home and then something happens. By the time we meet up with Mary, stuff has already happened to her. And then you're kind of trying to figure out, one, what the hell is happening to her? Who is Mary? Where is she? What is happening? And then you find that out, and then you find out how she got there. Samuel's story is also the same. He's in the situation. You find out why he's in the situation, kind of find out more about the world, and then you find more about him. And I loved that. Not one point in this book was I bored. It was so well paced, so interesting. I enjoyed like every page. There were no filler chapters or conversations. It was just good. And plotting, excellent. Surprise factor. Okay, so I originally gave this 3 stars, but I think I'm going to up it to 4 stars because I kind of knew going in that I was going to like this book. I have read H.M. Long's books before, so I kind of knew that I was already familiar with her writing style, so I kind of knew that I was going to like it already. And also, I loved the idea of like a cold nautical themed book. I didn't realize how much I would love this book and how unique the world was. And the world building was just, like I said, I gave it 4 stars for surprise because it did surprise me, and the ending as well. I couldn't predict the ending. I kind of knew where it was going, but I didn't exactly predict the big reveals. So that, in my opinion, is a big bonus. Although this has been a quick review, I do hope that it has inspired some of you to pick it up and hopefully enjoy it. I will be so happy if somebody picks it up on my review and enjoyed it. That would be so awesome. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Have you read this book? Are you interested? I would like to know. As always, you can always find me on Instagram and Goodreads. I am more on Goodreads. I rarely post on Instagram, but I'm there. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.